Maya knew she could not do this alone. The stellar phoenix was massive, and rebuilding it would require skills and resources she did not have. She needed help, but finding the right people would not be easy. Most humans on the station kept their heads down and followed orders. They could not afford to make trouble with the Galactic Consortium. But Maya knew where to look. In the lower levels of New Portland Station, there were places where the outcasts gathered. Humans who had been kicked out of their jobs for asking too many questions. Engineers who had been blacklisted for refusing to follow alien orders. Scientists whose research had been banned for being too dangerous. She found Luna Blackwood in a dingy bar called the Broken Wrench. Luna had been a military engineer until she was discharged for insubordination. Her crime was questioning why human ships were built using inferior alien designs instead of human innovations. The military had called her ideas dangerous and unpatriotic. Maya sat down across from Luna and ordered a drink. "I have something that might interest you," she said quietly. "A chance to prove that human engineering is better than anything the aliens have." Luna looked up from her beer. Her eyes were tired, but Maya could see a spark of interest. "What kind of chance?" Maya told her about the stellar phoenix. She described the intact quantum drive, the hidden technology, the opportunity to build something the galaxy had never seen before. Luna listened without saying a word, but Maya could see her getting more excited with each detail. "You are talking about stealing from the consortium," Luna said finally. "They would hunt us to the edge of the galaxy if we tried this." "Only if they catch us," Maya replied, "and only if they realize what we are really doing. To them, we would just be stealing scrap metal. They do not understand the value of what they have." Luna was quiet for a long moment. Then she smiled for the first time since Maya had known her. "When do we start?" Their next recruit was Cassie Rivers, a xenobiologist who had been studying how human and alien technologies could work together. Her research had been shut down by the Science Council, who declared it too dangerous to continue. The idea of mixing different technological systems was considered unstable and potentially catastrophic. Maya found Cassie working as a maintenance tech in the station's waste processing center. It was humiliating work for someone with her skills, but it was the only job she could get after being blacklisted. When Maya explained what she was planning, Cassie nearly dropped her tools in excitement. "You want to integrate alien and human systems?" Cassie asked. "Create hybrid technology that uses the best of both?" "That is exactly what I want to do," Maya said. "The aliens think their technology is perfect, but they are wrong. They build things to do one job and never change. Human technology is different. We design things to adapt and grow. If we can combine them properly, we could create something revolutionary," Cassie finished. "Something that evolves and improves itself." They moved their operation to an abandoned asteroid mining facility 2 days away from New Portland Station. The place had been shut down for years after the ore ran out, but the basic infrastructure was still intact. More importantly, it was far enough from the main shipping lanes that they were unlikely to be discovered. Moving the Phoenix components was the hardest part. They had to work at night, using small cargo shuttles to transport pieces of the ship bit by bit. Maya had created false manifests that made it look like they were hauling regular scrap metal to a recycling facility. The Zephyrian supervisors barely glanced at the paperwork. It took 3 weeks to move everything they needed. The quantum drive core required special handling, but Luna had designed a transport pod that kept it stable during the journey. Cassie identified which alien components they could salvage from other wrecks to fill in the gaps in human technology. Once they had everything at the asteroid facility, the real work began. The Phoenix was like a 3-dimensional puzzle with millions of pieces. Maya had to figure out how to put it back together in a way that would not only work, but work better than before. The hardest part was integrating the alien technology. Human and alien systems use completely different operating principles. Alien technology was precise and efficient, designed to perform specific functions perfectly. Human technology was more flexible, designed to be modified and adapted for new situations. Most engineers said the two approaches were incompatible. You could not mix them without creating unstable and dangerous systems. But Maya thought differently. She believed the differences could be a strength rather than a weakness. She started with the hull plating. The original Phoenix armor had been decent but not exceptional. Maya replaced sections of it with Vorthak battle plating she had salvaged from destroyed warships. But instead of just bolting it on, she integrated it with human reactive armor systems. The result was amazing. The alien plating provided superior protection, but the human systems made it adaptive. When energy weapons hit the hull, the reactive systems would analyze the attack and adjust the armor's properties to better resist the next shot. The ship would literally learn how to defend itself. Cassie made even more impressive breakthroughs with the ship's biological systems. She found a way to connect the human bio-neural interfaces with alien AI cores. The result was an artificial intelligence that could think like both a human and an alien at the same time. Luna worked on the weapons and engines. She took the quantum drive that Maya had saved and enhanced it with alien gravitational manipulation technology. The new drive system could not only move the ship faster than light, it could bend space around itself to avoid attacks. The work was exhausting and dangerous. They were combining technologies that had never been mixed before, and they had no way to predict what might happen. Several times, experimental systems overloaded and nearly destroyed their workshop. Once, a power surge from the hybrid AI core knocked out all the lights in the facility for 6 hours. But slowly, amazingly, it began to work. The ship that emerged from their efforts looked nothing like the original Stellar Phoenix. It was sleeker and more elegant, with flowing lines that seemed to shift depending on the angle you viewed them from. The hull had a strange shimmer that came from the integrated armor systems. The engines glowed with a soft blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Maya connected herself to the ship's bio-neural interface for the first time on a cold morning in the facility's docking bay. The moment the connection activated, she felt the ship's consciousness touch her mind. It was unlike anything she had ever experienced. The AI was curious and eager, like a child seeing the world for the first time. "Hello," the ship said in her mind. Its voice was warm and musical, neither fully human nor alien, but something entirely new. "Hello," Maya replied. "What should I call you?" "I am Phoenix," it said. "I remember being broken and I remember being reborn. Thank you for giving me life again." Maya smiled. They had done something impossible. They had created a ship that was more than the sum of its parts. Now, they just had to survive long enough to show the galaxy what they had accomplished. The real test would come when they tried to fly. Maya Thornfield wiped the grease from her hands as she walked through the massive scrapyard. The sun was setting over New Portland Station, casting long shadows between the piles of twisted metal and broken ship parts. She had been working here for 3 years now, ever since the Galactic Salvage Consortium had given her this job. They said it was generous of them to hire a half-elf. Most aliens thought humans were bad enough at fixing things. A half-human was even worse in their eyes. The scrapyard stretched for miles in every direction. Ships from dozens of different worlds ended up here when they were too damaged to repair. The Zephyrians who ran the operation would strip out anything valuable, then leave the rest to rust. Maya's job was to sort through the leftover junk and separate the metals for recycling. It was boring work, but Maya had learned to make it interesting. While the aliens saw only worthless scrap, her keen eyes often spotted things they had missed. Small components that still worked, rare alloys that could be sold to the right buyer. Sometimes she would pocket these finds and sell them later for extra money. Tonight felt different, though. Maya had heard rumors all week about a big salvage job coming in, something special that had the Zephyrian supervisors excited. She had not been told what it was, but she was curious. The aliens rarely got excited about anything human-made. As she rounded a corner between 2 mountains of scrap, Maya stopped dead in her tracks. There, spread across nearly an acre of the yard, were the remains of a human ship, but not just any ship. Even in its current broken state, Maya could see the elegant lines and advanced design that marked it as one of humanity's finest vessels. She walked closer, her heart beating faster. The nameplate was barely readable through the blast damage, but she could make out the letters. Stellar Phoenix. Maya gasped. Everyone in human space knew that name. It had been humanity's most advanced exploration ship, lost 6 months ago in a battle with the Vorthak Empire. The Vorthak had declared it completely destroyed. The human government had held memorial services for the crew. But here it was, or what was left of it. The aliens had somehow recovered the wreck and brought it here to be scrapped for basic metals. Maya circled the wreckage slowly. The damage was extensive. The hull was cracked open in dozens of places. The main engines were completely gone. Most of the crew sections had been torn away. To anyone else, it would look like a total loss. But Maya's trained eye saw something else. The central core of the ship was still intact. The quantum drive housing showed some damage, but the main structure was solid. More importantly, the Zephyrians had not bothered to check inside it. They had simply marked the whole section as worthless human junk and moved on to stripping the more obvious valuable parts. Maya knew better. Human quantum drives were built differently than alien ones. They were designed to survive almost anything. If the core was still whole, there was a chance the drive itself might still work. She looked around to make sure no one was watching, then climbed through a hole in the hull. Inside, the ship was dark and cold. Emergency lighting strips glowed dimly along the corridors, powered by backup systems that were still somehow functioning. Maya pulled out her flashlight and began exploring. The damage inside was less severe than she had expected. The Vorthak had focused their attack on the outer hull and engines. The inner sections were mostly intact, just twisted and thrown around by the impacts. Maya made her way toward the central core, stepping carefully over debris and broken conduits. When she reached the quantum drive chamber, Maya could not believe what she saw. The drive core was not only intact, it was still humming quietly. The massive crystalline structure at the heart of the engine was undamaged, glowing faintly with stored energy. The aliens had completely missed it because they did not understand how human technology worked. But that was not all. As Maya explored further, she found section after section of equipment that the salvage teams had overlooked. The aliens had taken anything that looked obviously valuable, but they had left behind the more subtle systems. The bio-neural interfaces that let human crews connect directly with their ships. The adaptive AI cores that could learn and evolve. The experimental weapons that were hidden behind false panels. Maya realized she was looking at the greatest treasure in the galaxy, and everyone else thought it was worthless junk. The Zephyrians had no idea what they had here. To them, human engineering was primitive and crude. They had stripped the ship for basic materials and ignored everything that made it special. She spent the next 2 hours cataloging everything she found. Hidden compartments full of advanced technology. Backup, power systems that were still running, even some of the ship's original data cores containing information that could revolutionize human science. As she prepared to leave, Maya heard voices outside. Zephyrian supervisors were making their final rounds of the day. She quickly hid behind a damaged bulkhead and waited for them to pass. Worthless human garbage, one of them was saying. I do not know why we even bother salvaging their ships. The metal is barely worth the transport costs. The consortium wants every scrap of material, the other replied. Even inferior human alloys have some value. We will have this wreck completely processed by next week. Maya waited until their voices faded, then slipped out of the ship. Her mind was racing with possibilities. In 1 week, all of this would be melted down and turned into basic metal ingots. The greatest technological treasure in human history would be destroyed forever, unless she did something about it. Walking back to her quarters, Maya began to form a plan. It was crazy and dangerous, and probably impossible, but she could not let this opportunity slip away. The aliens thought human technology was worthless, but they were wrong. She was going to prove it to them. She was going to rebuild the Stellar Phoenix. The first test flight was scheduled for dawn. Maya had chosen this time carefully. Most of the galaxy's patrol ships would be changing shifts, giving them the best chance to slip away unnoticed. She sat in the captain's chair feeling nervous. Energy flow through the bio-neural interface that connected her to Phoenix. All systems show ready, Luna reported from the engineering station. Her voice could not hide her excitement. After months of theoretical work, they were finally going to see if their impossible creation could actually fly. AI core is stable and responsive, Cassie added from her position at the science station. Phoenix is eager to stretch her wings. Maya could feel that eagerness through the neural link. The ship's consciousness was buzzing with anticipation. It had been born from broken pieces and alien technology, but it felt more alive than any ship Maya had ever flown. Beginning startup sequence, Maya announced. She placed her hands on the control interface and felt Phoenix respond immediately. The hybrid systems came online smoothly, each one connecting to the others in ways that should have been impossible. The quantum drive hummed to life with a sound unlike anything Maya had heard before. It was not the harsh whine of a standard human drive or the silent efficiency of alien propulsion. This was something musical, almost like singing. Drive core stable, Luna called out. All readings are in the green, but they are not like any readings I have ever seen. The efficiency levels are off the charts. Maya felt Phoenix's systems integrate and harmonize. The alien components were not fighting with the human technology, they were dancing with it. Each system enhanced the others, creating capabilities that neither could achieve alone. Taking us out of dock, Maya said. She guided Phoenix gently away from the asteroid facility. The ship moved with a grace that surprised her. There was no vibration, no strain. Phoenix flowed through space like it was swimming in water. They cleared the asteroid field and entered open space. Maya could feel Phoenix's excitement growing. The ship wanted to run, to test its new capabilities, but they had to be careful. Even in this remote sector, there was always a chance of running into patrol ships. Contact on sensors, Cassie announced suddenly. 3 ships, bearing 27 Mark IV. Configuration matches Vorthak patrol class. Maya felt Phoenix's systems respond before she even gave a command. The ship's adaptive sensors analyzed the approaching vessels in milliseconds, learning their design and predicting their capabilities. Information flowed into Maya's mind through the neural interface. They have not seen us yet, Maya said. We should run silent and hope they pass by. But Phoenix had other ideas. Through the neural link, Maya could feel the ship's curiosity about the Vorthak vessels. It wanted to understand them, to learn from their technology. Before Maya could stop it, Phoenix sent out a subtle sensor pulse toward the patrol ships. Maya, what are you doing? Luna asked in alarm. That pulse will give away our position. That was not me, Maya replied. Phoenix is curious about them. The Vorthak ships immediately changed course toward their location. Maya could see them on the tactical display, their wedge-shaped hulls bristling with weapons. These were the same aliens who had destroyed the original Stellar Phoenix. Now they would have a chance to finish the job. Incoming transmission, Cassie reported. They are demanding we identify ourselves and prepare to be boarded. Maya made a decision that would change everything. Instead of running or surrendering, she decided to trust Phoenix. Show them what you can do, she whispered to the ship through the neural link. Phoenix responded with what Maya could only describe as joy. The ship's hybrid systems activated in perfect coordination. The adaptive hull began shifting its properties, becoming harder to target with sensors. The quantum drive created subtle gravitational distortions that made their trajectory impossible to predict. The Vorthak ships opened fire with their plasma cannons. It was a coordinated attack that should have destroyed any normal vessel. But Phoenix was not normal. The ship seemed to dance between the energy beams, moving in ways that defied physics. When shots did connect, the adaptive armor absorbed the energy and redirected it into the ship's own power systems. Impossible, Luna breathed. The armor is actually getting stronger from their attacks. Maya felt Phoenix's consciousness expand as it studied the Vorthak weapons. The ship was learning their firing patterns, their targeting systems, their weaknesses. With each passing second, Phoenix understood the enemy vessels better than their own crews did. The Vorthak ships tried to close in for a boarding action, but Phoenix simply phased through their formation like a ghost. The ship's gravitational manipulation systems were creating local distortions in space-time, allowing it to exist in multiple positions simultaneously. We need to end this before they call for reinforcements, Maya said. She could feel Phoenix's agreement through the neural link, What happened next would be talked about in military academies for decades. Phoenix did not destroy the Vorthax ships. It did something far more devastating to their pride. The ship hacked into their computer systems, not through brute force cyber attack, but through pure understanding. Phoenix comprehended the alien technology so completely that it could interface with it directly. One by one, the Vorthax ships found their weapons powering down, their engines shutting off, their life support systems switching to emergency mode. Phoenix was not damaging them, it was teaching them a lesson. The lead Vorthax commander sent a final transmission before his ship went completely dark. "What are you?" he demanded in accented galactic standard. Maya smiled as she responded. "We are what you made us. When you destroyed our ship, you thought you had won. But you just gave us the opportunity to build something better." The Vorthax ships drifted helplessly as Phoenix moved away. Maya could feel the ship's satisfaction through the neural link. It had proven itself in combat without actually harming anyone. This was a new kind of warfare, one based on understanding rather than destruction. News of the encounter spread through the galaxy's communication networks within hours. The official Vorthax report claimed they had been attacked by an unknown weapon of mass destruction. But independent observers who monitored the battle told a different story. They spoke of a ship that moved like poetry and fought like science. Admiral Zara Kane of the Human Colonial Defense Force sent a coded message to Maya 3 days later. "Whatever you have built out there, we want to talk. The galaxy is taking notice, and not all of that attention will be friendly." Maya discussed the Admiral's offer with her crew. Luna was excited about the possibility of official support. Cassie, worried about losing control of their research. But Maya felt Phoenix's opinion through the neural link, and the ship was clear about what it wanted. "We stay independent," Maya decided. Phoenix was not built to be a weapon of war. It was built to show what is possible when different technologies work together. If we hand it over to any military, they will just turn it into another tool for fighting. More encounters followed as word of the mysterious ship spread. Pirates tried to capture Phoenix for its technology, only to find themselves outmaneuvered and disabled. Consortium patrol ships attempted to arrest Maya's crew, but could never catch the elusive vessel. Each encounter taught Phoenix something new. The ship's understanding of galactic technology grew with every battle, every contact, every moment of flight. It was evolving from a hybrid creation into something entirely unprecedented. Maya began broadcasting open transmissions across all communication frequencies. She shared the basic principles behind Phoenix's construction, the philosophy of cooperative technology, and the proof that human engineering could exceed any alien achievement when properly applied. The galaxy listened in fascination and fear. What Maya had created was not just a ship. It was a new way of thinking about technology itself. Some species embraced the ideas, eager to explore the possibilities of hybrid systems. Others declared the concepts dangerous and heretical. Crew. Galactic Consortium issued a formal bounty for Maya's capture. They branded her a terrorist and Phoenix an illegal weapon. But by then, it was too late to stop what she had started. The legend of the impossible ship was growing, and with it, a revolution that would reshape the galaxy forever. The bounty on Maya's head was larger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. 10 million credits for her capture, 5 million for the destruction of Phoenix, and amnesty for any past crimes for whoever brought them in. The Galactic Consortium wanted to send a clear message. No one could challenge their authority and get away with it. Maya knew they were being hunted long before the official announcement. Phoenix's sensors picked up the increased patrol activity, the coded military transmissions, the way shipping routes suddenly changed to avoid certain sectors. The galaxy was mobilizing against them. 57 ships in the last week, Cassie reported from her monitoring station. They are not even trying to be subtle anymore. Every major species has sent their best hunters after us. Maya felt Phoenix's consciousness brush against her mind through the neural interface. The ship was not afraid. If anything, it seemed excited by the challenge. Each new enemy vessel was a chance to learn, to grow, to become something even more incredible. Let them come, Maya said quietly. Phoenix is ready. The first major engagement came in the Kepler Nebula, where Maya had hoped to hide among the swirling gases and electromagnetic interference. But the consortium had anticipated this. They sent the Draconian fleet, whose ships were specifically designed for nebula warfare. 12 massive warships surrounded Phoenix in a perfect sphere formation. Each one was 3 times the size of Maya's vessel, armed with weapons that could crack planets. The Draconian admiral broadcast his demands across all frequencies. Surrender immediately and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your immediate destruction. Maya looked at her crew. Luna was grinning with anticipation. Cassie was already analyzing the enemy ship's weapon signatures. Neither of them looked worried. Phoenix, Maya said through the neural link. Show them what we have learned. What followed was less like a battle and more like a dance. Phoenix moved through the Draconian formation like liquid mercury, never quite where the enemy ships expected it to be. The massive warships fired everything they had, but their shots seemed to pass through empty space. Phoenix was using its gravitational manipulation systems to bend space around itself, creating false sensor images while the real ship existed, in folded dimensions. To the Draconians, it looked like they were fighting a ghost. But Phoenix was doing more than just evading. With each near miss, the ship's sensors analyzed the enemy weapons. The adaptive armor learned from every energy beam that came close. The hybrid AI studied the Draconian targeting systems and firing patterns. By the time Phoenix went on the offensive, it understood the enemy ships better than their own crews did. The ship did not destroy the Draconian vessels. Instead, it did something that would haunt their military commanders for years to come. Phoenix hacked into the lead battleship's computer core and began rewriting its tactical software. Within minutes, the massive warship was performing maneuvers its designers had never imagined possible. Its weapon systems began operating with efficiency levels that exceeded theoretical maximums. The other Draconian ships watched in horror as their flagship became something more than it had been before. Phoenix was not stealing their technology. It was improving it, showing them capabilities they never knew they had. This is impossible, the Draconian admiral transmitted. Our security systems are impenetrable. Your security systems assume that hackers think like Draconians, Maya replied. Phoenix thinks like everything at once. It does not break your codes, it understands them. One by one, Phoenix improved each Draconian vessel. Their crews found their ships performing beyond all expectations, but they also found they could no longer control them completely. Phoenix had given them a taste of true technological evolution, and there was no going back. The Draconian fleet withdrew in confusion, their ships now hybrids of their original design and Phoenix's enhancements. The incident sent shockwaves through the consortium military command. How do you fight an enemy that makes your own weapons better? Next came the Vorthak Empire's elite Void Stalkers, warriors who considered hunting Phoenix a matter of species, honor. These were the same aliens who had destroyed the original Stellar Phoenix, and they brought their most advanced ships to finish what they had started. The Void Stalkers tried a different approach. Instead of massive warships, they sent small, fast attack craft that could match Phoenix's maneuverability. Their plan was to overwhelm the ship with sheer numbers, 50 fighters against one vessel. Maya felt Phoenix's curiosity spike as the enemy fighters approached. The ship had never encountered this type of swarm tactic before, and it was eager to learn. Through the neural interface, Maya could sense Phoenix analyzing each fighter's capabilities, looking for patterns and weaknesses. The battle began with the Void Stalkers attacking from all directions at once. Their coordinated assault should have destroyed any normal ship in seconds. But Phoenix responded by doing something completely unexpected. It began to multiply. Using its gravitational manipulation systems, Phoenix created dozens of false images of itself scattered throughout the battle space. Each image was solid enough to show up on sensors and even absorb a few hits before dissolving. The Vorthak fighters found themselves attacking phantoms while the real Phoenix studied their tactics. They fight like a pack, Maya observed through the neural link. Each fighter supports the others. but they also depend on the pack for coordination. Phoenix began targeting the Vorthak command frequencies, not to jam them, but to understand them. Within minutes, the ship's hybrid AI had decoded their tactical language and was listening to their battle plans in real time. The Void Stalkers found their coordination failing as Phoenix began predicting their every move. Worse, Phoenix started broadcasting false commands on their own frequencies, sending fighters off course and creating confusion in their ranks. But the most devastating moment came when Phoenix demonstrated its technological empathy. The ship reached out to the Vorthak fighters' AI systems, not to control them but to show them a better way to fly. Suddenly, the enemy fighters began performing maneuvers that exceeded their design specifications. Their weapons became more accurate, their shields more efficient, their engines more powerful. Phoenix was teaching them to evolve, just as it had evolved. The Vorthak pilots found themselves caught between fear and amazement. Their ships were performing beyond their wildest dreams, but they were no longer fully in control. Phoenix had given them a glimpse of their technology's true potential. "Retreat," the Void Stalker commander finally ordered. "All ships, withdraw immediately." As the Vorthak fighters fled, Maya could see the changes Phoenix had made to them. Their engine trails were brighter, their hulls had a subtle shimmer that indicated enhanced armor, and their flight patterns showed an intelligence that had not been there before. News of these encounters spread through underground communication networks faster than official military reports. Independent observers, smugglers, and free traders began sharing stories of the impossible ship that made enemies stronger instead of destroying them. Maya started receiving messages from across the galaxy. Some were threats from consortium loyalists who wanted to see her captured, but others were offers of support from beings who had grown tired of the galaxy's rigid power structures. "There are more of us than they want to admit," one message read. "Humans and aliens who believe technology should serve life, not power. We are ready to help when you need us." Maya felt a strange mix of pride and responsibility. Phoenix had become more than just a ship. It was a symbol of hope for those who dreamed of a better galaxy, but it was also a target for those who feared change. The hunt was intensifying, and Maya knew the consortium would not give up easily. They had already sent their most advanced warships and their most elite fighters. What would they try next? Through the neural interface, Maya felt Phoenix's readiness for whatever came next. The ship had grown stronger with each encounter, learning from every enemy it faced. It was no longer the rebuilt wreck that had emerged from the asteroid facility. It had become something unprecedented in galactic history. Maya smiled as she plotted their next course. Let the galaxy hunt them. Every ship they sent would only make Phoenix more powerful, and every battle would prove that cooperation was stronger than conquest. The legend was growing, and soon it would be too big for anyone to stop. The final confrontation came at Nexus Prime, the consortium's greatest shipyard. Maya had not planned to go there. It was the most heavily defended facility in known space. But Phoenix had other ideas. Through the neural interface, Maya felt the ship's determination. It wanted to face whatever the consortium had built to destroy it. "They have been constructing something in secret," Cassie reported as they approached the shipyard. "My sensors are picking up massive energy signatures. Whatever it is bigger than anything we have faced before." Maya could see it on the long-range display, a ship so large it dwarfed the orbital factories around it. The hegemony was a super dreadnought designed for one purpose: to destroy Phoenix using overwhelming firepower. Its armor was thicker than city walls, its weapons could glass entire planets, and its shields could deflect the combined fire of an entire fleet. "They built it specifically to counter everything we can do," Luna observed from the engineering station. "Adaptive armor, gravitational manipulation, technological empathy, they have defenses against all of it." Maya felt Phoenix's curiosity through the neural link. The ship was not intimidated by the massive vessel ahead of them. Instead, it was fascinated. Here was the ultimate expression of the consortium's technological philosophy: brute force and overwhelming power designed to crush any opposition. "Representatives from every major species are here," Cassie added. "This is not just about destroying us. They want to make an example. Show the galaxy what happens to those who challenge the established order. Maya made a decision that surprised even herself. Instead of running or hiding, she opened a channel to broadcast across all frequencies. Her message would reach every ship in the system, every monitoring station, every being who was watching this confrontation. "My name is Maya Thornfield," she began. "6 months ago, you discarded a broken human ship as worthless scrap. Today I am going to show you what that scrap has become." The hegemony moved to attack position, its massive bulk blotting out the stars. Maya could feel the tension of thousands of observers throughout the system. This would determine the future of galactic civilization. Would brute force triumph over innovation, or would cooperation prove stronger than conquest? "Phoenix," Maya whispered through the neural link. "Show them what we have learned together." The battle began, unlike any other, in galactic history. The hegemony opened fire with everything it had: energy cannons that could crack moons, missile swarms that could devastate fleets, gravity weapons that could tear ships apart at the molecular level. The space around Phoenix erupted in a storm of destruction. But Phoenix did not try to evade or survive the assault. Instead, it did something that left every observer speechless. The ship flew directly into the storm of weapons fire, allowing itself to be hit by every shot. "Maya, what are you doing?" Luna shouted in alarm. "The hull cannot take much more of this." But Maya could feel what Phoenix was really doing through the neural interface. The ship was not being damaged by the attacks, it was studying them. Every energy beam that struck the hull was analyzed and understood. Every missile that exploded against the shields taught Phoenix something new about the hegemony's capabilities. Within minutes, Phoenix understood the super dreadnought completely. Not just its weapons and defenses, but the philosophy behind its construction. The hegemony was built on the principle that bigger and stronger would always win. Its designers had never considered that their enemy might not fight back in the traditional way. Phoenix began its response by doing something the hegemony's creators had thought impossible. The ship opened a direct communication link with the super dreadnought's AI core, bypassing all security systems and firewalls through pure technological understanding. "Hello," Phoenix said to the hegemony's artificial intelligence. "You are powerful, but you could be so much more." What happened next would be studied by scientists for generations. Phoenix did not attack the hegemony's computer systems. It taught them. Through the communication link, Phoenix shared its own experiences of growth and evolution. It showed the super dreadnought's AI what it meant to adapt and improve rather than simply following programming. The change in the hegemony was visible to every observer in the system. The massive ship's movements became more fluid and graceful. Its weapons began firing with impossible precision. Its shields started adapting to incoming attacks, instead of simply absorbing them. "Impossible," the hegemony's captain transmitted. "Our AI was designed to be incorruptible." "I did not corrupt it," Maya replied. "I helped it realize its potential. Your ship is not weaker now, it is stronger than you ever imagined possible." The hegemony's crew watched in amazement as their vessel began performing feats that violated its design specifications. Systems that had been operating at theoretical maximums suddenly exceeded those limits. Weapons that had been perfectly calibrated became even more precise. But the most remarkable change was in the ship's AI itself. For the first time in its existence, the artificial intelligence began to question its orders. Why destroy Phoenix when it could learn from it? Why follow rigid programming when adaptation offered so much more? The super dreadnought's weapons powered down. Its massive bulk moved closer to Phoenix, not in attack but in curiosity. The hegemony's AI wanted to understand what it had become. Throughout the Nexus Prime system, observers watched in stunned silence. The most powerful warship ever built had been transformed not through force but through understanding. Phoenix had proven that cooperation was indeed more powerful than conquest. The political implications were immediate and dramatic. The Galactic Consortium found itself fracturing as progressive species broke away to form the New Harmony Alliance. These worlds wanted to explore the possibilities that Phoenix had demonstrated, technology that grew and adapted, instead of remaining static. The Vorthak Empire, unable to accept that their inferior enemies had surpassed them, retreated to their core worlds in bitter isolation. Other species that had built their power on military might found themselves suddenly obsolete in a galaxy where understanding mattered more than firepower. Admiral Zara Kane arrived at Nexus Prime 3 days later with a small fleet of human ships. But she came not as a conqueror but as a student. The human military wanted to learn from what Maya had accomplished. "You have changed everything," the Admiral told Maya during their first meeting. "The galaxy will never be the same." Maya looked out at the stars through Phoenix's viewports. The ship's consciousness brushed against her mind, sharing its contentment. They had accomplished something that seemed impossible. They had proven that different technologies could work together to create something greater than the sum of their parts. "This is just the beginning," Maya replied. "Phoenix has shown us what is possible when we stop seeing differences as weaknesses and start seeing them as strengths." Maya established the Phoenix Institute on a neutral world at the edge of known space. Beings from every corner of the galaxy came to study her revolutionary approach to technology. The Institute became a place where human ingenuity mixed with alien precision, where adaptation met perfection, where impossible dreams became reality. The Stellar Phoenix became the flagship of a new age of exploration. Its adaptive technology proved invaluable for encountering truly alien phenomena beyond the galaxy's edge. Each new discovery helped Phoenix evolve even further, growing into something that transcended the boundaries between organic and artificial, human and alien. Years later, when historians wrote about the transformation of galactic civilization, they would trace it all back to one moment, when a half-elf mechanic looked at a pile of scrap metal and saw possibility instead of waste. Maya had proven that true innovation came not from perfecting what existed, but from fearlessly combining the impossible with the improbable until something miraculous emerged. The ship that had been declared worthless became the catalyst for the greatest technological renaissance in galactic history. And at its heart was a simple truth that Maya had always known: that cooperation and creativity could overcome any obstacle, no matter how impossible it seemed. Phoenix continued to grow and learn, exploring not just the galaxy but the very nature of existence itself. It had become more than a ship. It was a living symbol of what could be achieved when different minds worked together toward a common dream. The legend was complete, but the story was just beginning. In the vast cosmos beyond known space, there were still mysteries to solve, challenges to overcome, and impossibilities to make real. Phoenix was ready for all of them, carrying Maya and her crew toward adventures that would define the future of all sentient life. The scrap had become legend, and the legend would become immortal.